I'm Kent, and this is another episode of Weekend Adventure Rides How To. Today we're installing bar risers. These bar risers are by Zeta. They were picked up on Revzilla, and I think you can get these for about $46. What's important about spending a little bit more money on bar risers is you want to get milled bar risers. You do not want to buy aluminum that is cast. It breaks. It's very brittle, and you don't want to be going down the trail and have that aluminum break on you. So getting a nice set of milled bar risers is the only way to go. Okay, to install this, we're doing it on a 2015 V-strom 650, and for that you're going to need a 5mm Allen head to remove the clamp that's on there. And then once you get that clamp removed, we're going to install these aftermarket bolts. They're a little bit longer. And when we install those, that just takes a 10mm socket. So we're just gonna use a 10mm and a ratchet. All right, so let's jump over the bike and let's get started on that. So we're gonna go ahead and pull these 4 bolts out in the current bar clamp. Okay, now that you've got the bars off, you're gonna wanna pull them forward and set them kind of on the dash. Just so that they're stable. Now we're gonna go grab our bar risers. Okay, set your bar risers in. Put a single bolt in the top or bottom to hold the spacers in, so then you can adjust your bars. Okay, so bars are on, and now check your cable lengths. May have to loosen up some zip ties or potentially some metal cable straps that are underneath the dash. Then what we're gonna do is pull these bolts out. And then we're gonna put our toppers in, and then slide our bolts back in. And we're just gonna finger tighten these. So we're not gonna tighten down one all the way. We're gonna tighten down on each side, switching back and forth. That way you have even pressure across the bar clamp. So now before we've got it all the way tightened, we're gonna make sure we set the bar angle correctly. So when we adjust these bars, we wanna make sure they're centered left to right. And then also the angle of this bar coming up, I usually set that exactly with the rake on the bike. And that seems to be a good starting point for me when I'm setting up my bars for riding. So you may want to get on the bike at this point and really feel out the bars. So if you're comfortable with this, go ahead and grab your wrench, tighten them up. Turn the bars all the way to the left, all the way to the right. Make sure we're not catching anywhere. Now we're gonna wanna do this again when the bike started and make sure we don't have any revving going on. So in this case, it looks like things are pretty tight down there. So we're gonna go in under the bike. We're gonna adjust some of these cables so that they're not quite as tight. We had to adjust some cables down here, kind of move some things around, adjust them here underneath these hand guards. And now we've got this all tightened back up. Now, an important part as far as control goes, you're gonna wanna adjust your levers. So over here on the brake side, as well as the clutch side, you wanna get up, sit on the bike, make sure it's comfortable when you're both sitting and then standing. So I'm gonna have our rider jump on the bike here. He's gonna sit, feel out the brakes as well as the clutch. I think maybe we could do some adjustment as far as how much motion we have in the clutch here. We can do that with this brake lever here, adjustment. There we go, that looks better. Okay, now this is comfortable sitting. Now, when we transition to standing, can we still reach the brake and reach the clutch without rolling our wrists too far? And it looks like we're doing pretty good. We may want to tilt these down just a little bit, and for that we're gonna undo this screw under here, and we can tilt these down just a fraction, and that way they're a little more comfortable when we're standing and riding off-road. So now that we've got the bars set up the way that we like them, we're gonna start the bike. Now you're gonna wanna turn the handlebars all the way to the left, all the way to the right. What we're looking for here is any type of revving of the motor. So if you followed along, you now know how to install your bar risers. Things that are important when doing this: ensure that none of your cables are too short, that it's causing a rev in the motor, that it's putting too much strain on your brake cables. So making sure you have a little bit of laxity with that. These are 30mm risers, so they are about the extent of what you can do as far as bar risers go on most motorcycles. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, check back with us later. We're going to introduce more videos about rides that we do, as well as how-tos, and then we're going to do some gear reviews coming up. Check us out.